Chapter 1. Forever Locked in Regret. The year was 1942, and London wore the scars of a world engulfed in turmoil. The calendar, frozen at 10:55 a.m. on April 14th, was a portal to a distant past, a time when I found myself running through the dimly lit corridors of a doomed ship. Water seeped in from all sides, and the ship groaned under the weight of its impending demise. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows, and the distant rumble of destruction resonated in my ears. I was trapped in a nightmare, a haunting déjà vu. "This isn't real," I whispered to myself, but the sinking ship held me captive, an unforgiving echo of the Titanic's tragedy. Then, a voice, cold as the North Atlantic, pierced the chaos. "You may have escaped the Titanic, Carlson, but you will never escape from me." It was a voice from the abyss of my memories, a voice I couldn't place. A man materialized before me, clad in the unmistakable uniform of the German military. His short brown hair and thin mustache framed a face contorted by hatred. "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice trembling like the ship beneath my feet. He sneered, pointing an accusatory finger at me. "I am your failure, Carlson. I haunt every moment of your wretched life." His words cut deeper than any physical wound. "Get away from me," I shouted, fleeing up a stairwell onto the ship's deck. But there, amid the chaos, the icy embrace of the North Atlantic awaited me. I struggled against the frigid water, desperation clawing at my throat. In the midst of my struggle, the German man reappeared, standing atop an overturned lifeboat. His grin was a grotesque mask of triumph. "Not so quick, are you?" he taunted. "This is the end for you, my friend. How does it feel knowing you're responsible for countless suffering and deaths? You should have gone down with the ship." As I reached for the lifeboat, his boot crushed my fingers, and I cried out in pain. He reveled in my agony, placing his boot on my forehead and forcing me underwater. Darkness swallowed me as I sank, my fate entwined with the wreckage of the Titanic and the souls it had claimed. And then I awoke. The dream had receded, but the weight of the past clung to me like a shroud. I rose from my bed, weary and burdened, and began to dress for another day in my dilapidated flat at 9 Stanley Crescent. The room, like my life, had seen better days, its cracked stucco mirroring my own faded elegance. April 14th, a date forever etched in my memory, had returned to haunt me. The nightly air raids had become my lullaby, a dissonant symphony to which I'd grown accustomed. The world outside was falling apart, much like my own existence. As I turned on the radio, a woman's voice replaced the fading notes of Chopin's Prelude Opus 28 No. 7, which had provided a place for solace. Her words painted a bleak portrait of London's wartime woes, and I could bear it no longer. I turned off the radio and made my way to a makeshift shrine to the Titanic that had become a fixture in my life. A model of the ill-fated ship stood at the center, surrounded by a scrapbook of memories. I opened the scrapbook to the first page, where a newspaper headline proclaimed, "Titanic sinks, 1250 perish." 30 years had passed since that fateful night, since I clung to collapsible lifeboat A in the icy waters of the North Atlantic. That night had sealed my fate, marking me as a man forever trapped in regret. My gaze fell upon a book, Futility by Morgan Roberts, its pages eerily prophetic of the Titanic's demise. An old obituary served as a bookmark, a reminder of Lord and Lady Lambeth and my lost love, Georgia. Duty had torn us apart, and now she was but a memory, another life I had failed to save. A relentless pounding on the door shattered my reverie, and I knew the unwelcome visitor well. Miss Belby, with her haggard appearance, holding an envelope in her hand, berated me for overdue rent. 2 weeks late with the rent," she screeched. I promised payment, though I knew it was an empty vow. "War or no war, a tenant in arrears is not a tenant I'll put up with," she spat. With a final threat, she departed, throwing the envelope down as she slammed the door shut and another piece of stucco falling on the newspaper on the sideboard, leaving my sanctuary in further disarray. As I wiped away the fallen bits, the headlines spoke of Nazi bombers' devastation in the Docklands and the relentless march of war. As I pondered if these calamities were the consequences of my past failures, the mysterious envelope she had flung to floor caught my attention, and I picked it up. Inside, a gold pocket watch. It was a relic from the day I joined the Secret Service, a day that would change my life forever. I recalled Commander Hippel's words, the man who had delivered my dismissal. "See here, this isn't about your dedication. Pringle certainly attests to your loyalty, No, your dismissal stems from the mission. That failure can no longer be ignored, especially now. I am sorry, but someone must shoulder the blame. The service, you understand. We can't be held responsible. The responsibility weighed on my shoulders. My trembling hands opened the watch. "What is this nonsense?" I exclaimed, as its hands stood frozen at 2:20 a.m., the hour of the Titanic's sinking. I tossed the watch aside, unfolding a piece of paper hidden within. The past, forever locked in regret, but what if the past could be changed? The words mocked me. Some undecipherable riddle. Who could have sent me this cruel reminder? As the air raid siren wailed outside, my resolve wavered. I had nothing left to protect, and the war seemed a fitting end to my long, regret-laden journey. The explosion rocked my flat, and I felt myself engulfed by flames and darkness. Into that red and yellow abyss of heat and light my own voice whispered, "What if the past could be changed?" What then?